Mark here for TheFootballLines.com. While my site's got tons of historical NFL data, sometimes it might be a bit difficult to know what to do with it. Ideally, you want to build a really robust model, build heaps of models, backtest the heck out of them, make sure that they work. Not everyone's into that, and sometimes you might think, well, what else do I do with it? Today I'm going to show you, a pretty darn easy way of just filtering through, get some ideas and find out what you can do with this information. So what I did was I built a database and made it in such a way that you could filter by the home team's closing spread. Here we've got it at -3, so you got plenty of results. -3 is a key number, and so there's all the games with the home team's closing spread of -3. We scroll down the bottom, I've got a summary of it. You can do this in Excel or whatever program you want to do it in. It shows us that you've got 91, or the amount of games is 255. Okay, so 91 times, or about 35.5% of the time, the home team covers. About 8.25% of the time, the push results, and the away team or the road team, 56% of the time they've covered 143 games. Now, there in itself is a winning bet. If you just blindly bet the away team when they're +3, you would have won 143 times out of 255, and you would have made a profit. I'm not suggesting you go and do that, not by a long shot. Would have been some probably rocky road, and if your bankroll had stayed intact, it probably would have been a minor miracle. But just showing you the value of having the data, being able to see what it's about. Okay. But if we take this information and we sort of dissect it a little bit further, I've got the average cover and the median cover. Now that is the amount of points that the team that covered by actually covered. So they're high. We'll go with the away team. We already know that they've got 56% cover rate, and the average is 12.14. So that means when the away team did cover, a lot of times they covered by a lot of points. So can we use that to our advantage? Can we increase our return? What I did to analyze that is I just basically copied and pasted that information into Excel. I did a sort firstly on the team that covered, so I got all the away covers first off, and then a secondary sort on the amount of points that they covered by. So I've color coded it here. You can see we knew that the away team covered 143 times, and this column here, E, is, I didn't put the titles in here, but E is the amount of points that they covered by. So you can see that really from 6 on, there's a lot of games that they covered. Okay, now this number is taking into account that they had a +3 start, so that means, like in this game that was in 2007, the Giants beat the Eagles 16-13. So they won by 3, plus they had their 3-point start, so that equaled the 6. So if we were to move the line on this game, on the away team, if we moved it to -2.5 and bought points, that's going to increase our odds. It's also going to mean that anything here from 6 onwards, we're still going to cover. Okay, so that's why I've highlighted it here, and that totals now that you would cover 121 times out of the 255 games. You would lose 134. So they represent 47.45% winning, 52.55% you would lose. Okay, now we've moved the line quite a way. We've moved it essentially 5.5 points. So what does that give us in terms of odds? Here is a local bookmaker of ours who, quite frankly, their odds aren't that great. I wouldn't, their spread, or they call it line, but they're running at $1.91, so they're not particularly generous, are they? But we'll use them as an example, as good as any. So they had a game here, I think it was week 2 this season, Carolina were hosting the Texans, and the away spread was +3. Now they have a betting option which is called pick your own line. Okay, basically they offer all different lines. You can flip them around, and at your bookmaker it might be called alternate spread. A lot of them you can just move the line and the odds change accordingly. So if we were to take Houston in this scenario and make them -2.5, you would get odds of $2.92. It's decimal, equates to +192 American odds. Okay, essentially, if you bet $100, you will receive $292 for a winning bet back, and be making a profit of $192. Okay, sounds pretty good. So, what does that mean with our scenario? Over the last 8 years or so, 7-8 years, if we had done that, blindly bet it, we would have won 121 times. If we outlaid $100 each time, we would have had a profit of $23,232. We would have lost 134 times by 100. We would have lost 13,400 for a profit of $9,832. So you would have turned your bankroll over to the tune of $25,500 in that time. That's 255 bets at $100 a pop. The profit of $9,832 equates to a 38.55% return. So, is that as good as it looks? Because it does look good. Okay. In my next video, which I hope to get out over the weekend, we will dissect it further and actually see whether it is something that's worthwhile. In the meantime, I would urge you to register with our site, and once you do that, you're on our mailing list, so you'll be the first to know about when the video comes out. You can also go to our download section and grab some of the data sets yourself and start doing similar.